these roaches, not able to completely wall them off. And now double evo chambers will start those double upgrades on the roaches. A lot of roaches on the way. And you can actually see he got the Hydra Den, but not using it quite yet. Tunneling Claw's almost done. And this observer actually spots these roaches. They should unburrow and walk out of here, but no, he will get picked off here. And Curious unburrows the roaches. Little too late though. Will it be enough? He actually engages this army. Now 3 force fields going down, but this won't be enough to just cut off these roaches, and all these sentries will get picked off once again. And just getting caught in the middle of the map here. Huck losing a lot for no real reason. He did manage to pick off those roaches for free, but now a lot of stalkers, Curious, will have to actually walk back home. Now we can see still only roaches being produced and no hydras as of yet. 4th base already 3/4 done by Curious. Huck engaging here with his stalkers, blinks back and will head back home. And now level 2 weapons getting chrono boosted out here by Huck. And a lot of cannons to actually detect these burrowed roaches if they decide to make their way to any base to harass. Huck wisely scouting. No, he actually turns around and still does not know about this base. He was so close with his observer, but decides that he'd rather see the 3rd base instead of the 4th. And somewhat of an okay creep spread by Curious. It could be better, but it could be worse. I'm thinking that he could have at least linked these bases together, especially since that queen has 50 energy. He could just throw down a creep tumor here just to link these bases as well as the 2nd and 3rd base. Especially with those blink stalkers up, you really need that mobility to catch up with them if they decide to counterattack or harass any bases. And now both these players decide to just turtle back in their base. 6 hydras finally being produced, as well as overlord speed, but no drop yet, so we won't be seeing drops. Actually a spire up going up. We might see some Mutalisk harass, or maybe it is just for corruptors or eventually broodlords. Maybe that Curious thinks that Huck will go for Colossus. Huck has actually recently trying to avoid Colossus in his army composition, only getting them very late game. I guess he feels that Blink Stalkers are just way more useful in the early game. Now burrowing back, nice force field by Huck, forcing the burrow and the tunneling claws to take effect, and these roaches will be pushed back and losing a lot. Blinking forward here, an aggressive blink by Huck will be able to pick off the rest of these roaches. Curious losing his entire army here. He will have to reproduce these. You can see 9 roaches now on the way. Huck deciding to blink up on the high ground instead of chasing these roaches down. I don't know if that was a good idea. Blinking forward with a single stalker, picking off the low health roaches. You can see nice target fire here. With these hydras coming back though, he will be able to thwart away these stalkers, picking one overseer off. So that was nice by Huck. Little pick off and blink back. Always good to get free damage. And now his Curious's 4th base is up and running. He still does not have Hive Tech on the way. So he is sticking tier 2. Now 1-1 for Curious and 2-0 for Huck on his +1 weapons. Zealot legs now on the way, as well as the Templar Archive, so we will be seeing storms shortly. Huck still on 3 bases, might think about taking a 4th base here. 1 Zealot actually ravaging 1 roach that was chilling up here, and this Zealot, it feels like a boss now, taking out a whole roach by itself. Curious will be engaging the 3rd base now, but with no sentries actually by Huck, only 1 sentry in this army, so he will only have about 1 or 2 force fields. Nice positioning here by Curious, actually getting those hydras in range of these immortals. He needs to focus down these immortals and then actually engage the stalkers. A lot of zealots actually warping in down here will be able to hold this, and Huck again holding off these attacks one by one. Actually, these hydras doing a lot of damage now, and will Curious actually be able to bust through this? I don't believe so. With more reinforcements, of course, with these slow Hydras, when you push like this, you cannot retreat, especially against Bling Stalkers. So that is why Curious didn't try and retreat when he was falling behind, because he knows that he will get picked off by all these Bling Stalkers if he tries to. 5th base now already done for Curious. You can see Huck is starting to think about getting this base. Where is that probe? These probes already transferring. Gonna throw down that 4th base with a lot of minerals stacked up for Huck, and now these roaches might be able to intercept a few probes and deny that 4th. If Curious can actually deny any expansions by Huck, he could eventually starve Huck to death. And I wonder if this is his strategy, mass expanding while trying to starve his Protoss opponent. Now a lot of storms already starting to charge up, not quite ready on these High Templars. But Curious was able to pick off 3 pylons and the few forces that were up here by Huck. Huck deciding to actually expand right next to our Zerg player. Very, very bold move, because Hive is going to be almost done. And with these Broodlords that can actually pick off this Nexus on the high ground here. Of course, with Bling Stalkers, Broodlords are very easy, well, are easier to deal with, but still they are very, very good. If you can actually get a few fungals on those Bling Stalkers, they will be completely negated, held in place, and not able to do any kind of damage. Now finally a Baneling nest going up for Curious without drops. This is very particular. I expect drops will be starting soon enough. You want to be able to drop those Banelings on the Stalkers when you engage the army. Once lone Stalker gonna get picked off here. And huge Roach Hydra army by Curious. A lot of Immortals by Huck. Nice storms. Very, very nice storms actually by Huck, whittling away at this Roach health. And now only Hydras left in front. You do not want your Hydras in front. And perfect engagement here by Huck will be able to win this battle. And probably even win the game after this. These storms were just epic by Huck. They got all the roaches in the red and in the yellow and the orange. Now huge army moving forward. 1 fungal growth on these Stalkers will prevent them from moving forward just a bit. But now Huck in free reign just in front of Curious's base, and he decides not to engage this. I feel if Huck knew what was up here, he would have engaged. Now that the roaches have gathered up, they will be able to at least stall this army from moving up. Huck deciding to retreat here, and I really feel that if Huck knew what Curious had, he would have engaged here, but since he was in the dark, he could not engage. Maybe there was a trap up there, you never know. Nice storms again by Huck, hitting all these roaches, and these roaches are next to dead to this army. These Stalkers will be able to blink forward and pick even more off. Now 3 Archons on the map. This Archon is in danger. He is very ballsy to actually move up here. These roaches do burrow, but with all the Stalkers, the Archons, and the 2 big Immortals that do huge damage here, he will be able to win this engagement. These Archons should be in front, but even there, Huck will win this engagement. 3 Corruptors planning to morph into Broodlords later on in their lives won't even get that chance. Huck streaming in a lot of Zealots here. That is about 15 Zealots just streaming into Curious's main base, and Curious will lose this main base. 3 Evo Chambers actually for Curious, wanting to get triple upgrades, and this will be GG, guys. Huck is just streaming in more Zealots and Archons and will ravage this main base. All tech buildings will go down. I expect Curious to try and rebuild some tech at least his 2 very far away bases, maybe to try and come back in this game, but I don't see it happen. He is very low on minerals actually. This is not where you want to be as a Zerg when your main is getting ravaged. And there it goes, the GG, and he is out of here. Huck wins another game, showing us how it's done, and tune in for the 3rd game of the Huck Pack.